Okay, so I was originally intending this video to be a review of Happy Gilmore 2 because I'm such a big fan of the original one. I watched the new one on Friday night and I had thoughts, but I saw a trailer for the sequel to This Is Spinal Tap had dropped on YouTube and it kind of got me thinking. Hollywood seems so pent up at the moment with franchise films, prequels and sequels, including legacy sequels, which obviously Happy Gilmore 2 is, and Spinal Tap 2 is. And legacy sequels for me kind of have a little bit of a mismatch in terms of quality. I'd say that there are probably a lot more bad legacy sequels than there are good, but obviously there is the odd one which I think surpasses the original film. Case in point, Top Gun Maverick, which is honestly way better than the original. Even though the original was a great film, the sequel for me just completely eclipsed it. But Happy Gilmore 2, I was kind of skeptical about it because we didn't really need it, did we? But I guess you can say that about most films, especially sequels. But I ended up enjoying it an awful lot more than I thought I was going to. I mean, the first two acts I thought were quite funny, even though the film does seem to serve as a kind of commercial for the original one, more as a celebration, if you will. A lot of the jokes for me did land. Yeah, they are using quite a few of the same jokes. There's a lot of callbacks and references with characters or sons and daughters of the original characters because the original actors are no longer with us. And there's obviously clips from the original film in the new one just to kind of tell you how this links or something. I think it was a little bit too on the nose. I mean, overall, I thought it was pretty good. The final act, I thought, just got a little bit too stupid. But there is kind of like a social commentary at play here. For anybody who hasn't seen Happy Gilmore 2, then consider this a warning for spoilers. So in the film, there's this kind of golf league that's been set up, which is more extreme in an attempt to try and revamp what some people consider a boring sport. I don't think it's boring. What's old is no longer good, or something along those lines. And these newfangled ideas are being put forward by people who are just more interested in ratings and more interested in popularity and how they look on camera, and it's very superficial. But the social commentary that landed more with me was more to do with how younger audiences today have less of an attention span. I mean, the younger generation today, without me sounding too old, is that people would watch short form videos on their phone because they're quick, they're sharp, they're punchy, and it holds their attention. Films have kind of been adapted to hold people's attention, if you will. There's a lot more action set pieces with explosions and flashing images and things going on all over the screen because that is what keeps you hooked. But that is at a detriment to good storytelling, character development, and for me, the overall enjoyment of a film. And I kind of felt that the final act in Happy Gilmore 2 was a criticism of that. They're taking a sport with legions of fans and revamping it to try and appeal to younger audiences because those younger audiences have less of an attention span. And yeah, I thought that was clever. Yeah, it did seem a little bit daft in its execution, and it was a very predictable film. Like I said, it was a film that we didn't really need, but I enjoyed it. So I give Happy Gilmore 2 a solid 6.5 out of 10, which leads me on to the trailer for Spinal Tap 2. Again, it's not really a film that anybody really needs, but I'm really excited for it. I absolutely love the original film. I love the music. The fact that those three guys play their instruments and write those songs, to me, just goes to show how talented they are. And they're really funny comedians. I mean, This Is Spinal Tap inspired a whole generation of comedians and filmmakers. You just have to look at The Office just to see that influence. Ricky Gervais is very much influenced by This Is Spinal Tap. And seeing where these aging rockers are now, I actually think is a really good concept. And there were certain parts of the trailer itself that really did make me laugh. How about someone dies on stage? I mean, what an absolute outlandish concept. No, but what about a coma? What? I mean, it just goes to show the extremes that these aging rockers will go to just to stay relevant. And it seems to me if it's centered around trying to capture previous glories. But going back to the legacy sequel, I mean, Hollywood does seem to be a little bit devoid of creativity where it comes to original content. It's either another superhero film, a reboot of a superhero film like with Superman. The MCU seems to be churning out films just to keep that one going. And we've got like a 15th sequel to Jurassic Park. The Fast and the Furious seems to be churning out sequel after sequel after sequel because these films make money. And what was popular 20, 30 years ago could still be popular today. Nostalgia is a really big thing. People buy into nostalgia, but there has been quite a few legacy sequels that really don't hit the mark. I mean, you just have to look at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and that last one, whatever it was called, The Diarrhea of Destiny. Both of those films just weren't needed, neither were they any good. You can also say the same thing about the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which I've discussed to death on this channel. Doesn't hold up anywhere near as good as the original trilogy, in my opinion, and I'd argue that maybe even the prequels are slightly better, even though I don't like the prequels. You also had an Anchorman sequel, which came out years after the original one, kind of redoing the same jokes. It's like a regurgitation of what worked before, which doesn't work now because you're milking it. Same thing with Dumb and Dumber. You had a prequel, which was awful, and then you had a sequel, which was even worse. And then there was Zoolander 2, which I thought was a pile of crap. Top Gun Maverick really worked. Obviously, Mad Max Fury Road was another one. It's an absolutely fantastic film, and it slots into the Mad Max legacy really well. Blade Runner 2049 was another one, which again is better than the original. Tron Legacy, that was pretty good. I mean, I think it's a tough argument to say that the original Tron is better than Tron Legacy. And we've also got another Tron coming out later this year, which is years after Tron Legacy was released. Creed? I mean, the first Creed film I thought was excellent. Even Rocky Balboa, again, a legacy sequel released years after Rocky V, is an absolutely fantastic film. So yeah, there are legacy sequels out there that do outdo the original film. But for me, I think it's quite hit and miss. I do feel that there are a lot more bad legacy sequels than good ones. Ghostbusters Afterlife was not brilliant. I mean, it was just a rehash of the first film. I know it's got its fans. And Frozen Empire was not good at all. The Matrix Regurgitation, or Resurrections, or whatever you want to call it, that was definitely a legacy sequel that is not even as good as the two sequels that came after the original, and even they're not as good as the original. The point that I'm trying to make is that legacy sequels seem to be the go-to where other ideas are completely exhausted. I mean, it's one reason why I'm always interested in what the next project Christopher Nolan's working on, because he comes out with a lot of original content, as well as Quentin Tarantino. So there are talented filmmakers out there coming out with original films, but it's within a sea of sequels and remakes, and God, it's just getting a little bit too much. We just had the third iteration of the Fantastic Four, and I know there's a big debate on our channel between which is better, Superman or Fantastic Four, but neither of which are original films, even if they're presented differently. And yeah, they've got their fans, and yeah, they're both making a lot of money. So it will be interesting to see where Christopher Nolan goes with The Odyssey. And I can't wait for another Quentin Tarantino film to come out. He's one of my favourite directors. We've obviously just had 28 years later, again, a legacy sequel, and it was okay. I mean, the first two acts were solid enough. That final act, no. Wasn't for me. Sean and I did a live stream about it, so you can go back and watch that to get our full thoughts on that film. They keep churning out Terminator films like they're going out of fashion, and yeah, they probably went out of fashion after Terminator 2. I mean, how do you follow Terminator 2? Although, there was one legacy sequel which I'm not sure if it's good or bad because it used to freak me out, and that's Return to Oz. To summarise, legacy sequels are big money. They're going to continue to be made. If there's a property out there that Hollywood can milk within an inch of its life, they will do. But what's your favourite legacy sequel? What did you think of Happy Gilmore 2? And are you looking forward to Spinal Tap 2? By all means, leave us a comment. Anyway, I've been Colm from the Critical Cinema Club, and I'll catch you again soon.